A few thoughts about the Humane AI pin that's been released or announced officially today in detail, and why I think it's fundamentally flawed from a product perspective. Also, a siren song that is a dangerous one to follow that I think they're following. And also, the third thing is kind of what I think the product could look like, should look like, and could potentially be a recovery for them if they realized it. So my sort of adjustment to the product that I think they should take. But the first thing is the fundamental flaw. So this pin sits on your clothing, kind of like a boutonniere, a lapel on your lapel. Has a camera, a microphone, a speaker, so it records things around you, and you can interact with it. It has a little projection screen that can show you something on your hand as you look at it. And what I think they're misunderstanding fundamentally is people's perceptions about privacy. Nobody wants to be recorded in public. So a camera and a microphone is a no-go. I mean, you don't have to look too much farther than the way that people are perceived in movies when they have to go in bugged and record a conversation. Google Glass showed us that people are not interested, beating people up at bars when they walked in with Google Glass, or putting up signs that people weren't allowed in with Google Glasses. That was strictly a privacy and recording thing. We just don't trust people who are recording us. In our experiences, the people who record us are not friendlies. They are police officers. They are lawyers. They are, dangerous people that don't give us any sort of, don't let us relax. They're going to analyze what we're saying. So people fundamentally don't like that. And I think anyone wearing that pin will feel a similar expression towards them as people with Google Glass. Once people start to understand what this thing means. I actually think this is a product category that will never succeed. No microphones, no cameras should ever be in a product that you wear around anywhere. The one exception for this, I think, is sunglasses. So like the Meta AI, or the stories, whatever they call them now, the Meta sunglasses, those are different because you, by definition, would wear them outside because they're sunglasses, and there's a less expectation of privacy. So still a little sketchy, but acceptable. People expect their conversations to be heard by others when they're out in public, but indoors, total no-go. So that's the fundamental flaw. I'll talk about what changes they might make to the product in a second. But the other piece I wanted to note was the siren song of collecting data about ourselves. There's this, like, people who have had a lot of success by thinking and having knowledge, think that information is equal to success, or is equal to good outcomes. And so they tend to be people like, these are people that work in the tech industry a lot, right? These are people that love to absorb knowledge, love to learn, and therefore collecting data is something that feels like a path to more success, recognition, and acceptance. I'm one of those people. I have 30,000 journal entries in my Evernote about all kinds of different things. But more information does not equal, or information in general does not equal success. You don't have to look too much farther than the fact that we all know we should be, for example, eating better, working out, maybe getting out of a bad, relationship, or some kind of situation that we know is bad for us in ways we understand, but doing it is a whole different thing. It's a very different skill. So knowing doesn't equal doing. Doing is what matters. Knowing is the first step. But when these lapels, these products come out, like the Rewind product that's recording your screen on your computer, and now they're releasing one that has it's a pendant that hangs over your neck that can record audio, everything all day. They're making the assumption that more information is better, and that's not true. So that's a siren song that proves not to be true. The other fact is that search is actually way, way harder than I think people understand. I believe we've been lulled into believing search is a solved and solvable problem because of Google, because Google has created a search engine that seems to be able to pull out any information we want. But we all know that Google is struggling now in the sense that their search results are getting worse. And if you want to find something that is arcane or unique, it's very difficult to do that on Google unless you really understand how to use the search engine or know very specific phrases or descriptions of what you're looking for. People might point to like the way ChatGPT and different large language models have like internalized the internet, and talking to them will be the answer to like sorting through a lot of data. But in practice, though they're terrible at giving you data that's specific, they're very good at concepts and discussing things, creatively generating ideas. But when they need to generate or give you specifics about something, they just default to search engine behavior and pointing you towards websites or quoting websites. So an LLM is not the promise of sorting through a lot of data, but I think there's a lot of movement now towards just recording everything and figuring out. And if we have enough data, we'll be able to sort through it. But as far as I can tell, there's no proof that that's true. So that's the second thing. The last thing was what I think the answer is to the product, this product category. And I think there is one. This is a very interesting product category. But the answer is, in my mind, basically what Humane has created without the camera, without the microphone, a little device that sits in your pocket, no one else sees it, connects to an earpiece, and just gives you a simple line to an open AI style personal assistant large language model. What's shocking to me is that, even though as we use ChatGPT on other products and have our minds blown constantly by what they can do and what they can tell us and how useful they can be, people creating products seem to be, putting all kinds of additional bells and whistles on them. When the real answer to making ChatGPT or an AI more compelling is just removing all the friction from you speaking to it responding. And I think that's the line that Humane should be taking. Create a device that is always on, focus on like a battery that can last, a speaker and microphone system that is like always on, and a device that you can just put in your pocket, have in an earpiece, and talk, say anything, and get answers back. So remove all friction and let the large language models do what they do, because they do it super, super well. So that's, I think, the answer. No mic, no camera, small device. Of course, that hits up with like the cell phones that we have. Apple and Google are obviously already the device in our pocket, and that's going to be very powerful. But it makes sense for OpenAI and Humane and other companies to try and get in on this market, because realistically, we only use the earpiece for a few things. So phone calls, listening to music, and then whatever assistant we have. We'll still always carry a cell phone for the visual stuff, right? We'll always want to, see pictures, interact with people on social media. The visual is an aspect of our devices, so that'll always be there. But I can certainly imagine a world where I have a phone and I have this little device that sits in like the top little jeans pocket I have, kind of like the old iPod shuffles, if you remember those, and then connects to my earpiece. And I just have those two devices in the same way I have the watch for the functionality it has, but I don't take phone calls on it. I mean, unless I'm like absolutely, on the couch and don't want to get up, I can kind of do that in a pinch, but it sucks. So it's no big deal to carry one more device, especially with how much benefit it will bring. Anyway, that's a little longer than I wanted to go, but a few thoughts on Humane AI and that whole product category.